Hey there nation, and welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and welcome to the episode of Wheels of Fury Road to Glory, a high-octane Necromunda Underhive Racing Campaign inspired by the Wheels of Fury rule supplement from Games Workshop. Deep beneath the hive cities and across the radioactive ash wastes, 10 outlaw racers risk everything in a brutal campaign of speed, sabotage, and survival. Those aren't armies fighting for territory, they're desperate crews piloting heavily customized death machines through collapsing tunnels, toxic sump canals, ash waste highways, and riot-filled dome streets. Every race brings a new upgrades, catastrophic wrecks, bitter rivalries, and legendary moments as drivers battle to become the undisputed Lord of the Road. Now in today's video, episode number 5 is race number 5, which is the Bone Road Run. We're taking this race out to the ash wastes of Necromunda, where I have a really dark surprise for each of the racers participating in this particular race as well. But you'll find out as our races will, as our video goes through. Now because this video is a little bit more of a deeper dive, I will put timestamps in the description box down below so that we can click and navigate to the part of the video that interests you the most. So that being said, let's get this video on a roll and go ahead and talk about the rosters and the racers that are participating in the Bone Road Run.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dying times here.
So race number 5 is called the Bone Road Run. It is a rolling road scenario that lasts 6 turns, and the victory conditions, of course, is to cross the finish line at the end of turn number 6. Now for the rewards for this scenario, if you took part in the race, earn 25 credits as well as earn 6 experience points. If you earn the first place rank, you get 100 credits as well as learn 10 experience points. Second place winner earns 75 credits and 7 experience points. Third place winners actually get 50 credits as well as 5 experience points. If you complete the race, you earn D6 times 10 credits as well as 3 experience points, and for each racer you take out of action, you earn 50 credits as well as 5 experience points. Now there is a bonus on this one for it comes to reward. It's called Slay the Dreadnought. Now there is a hidden NPC on this map called the Dreadnought, and if you'll notice on our racing we actually had this little survivor triumph, and for the longest time I told my players that whoever actually managed to survive the most races without getting a single wreck, that would be the person who was a survivor triumph. But that's actually not true. I kind of lied to them. What's going to happen is that this NPC called the Dreadnought's going to pop on the table. Whoever managed to slay the Dreadnought is going to earn the survivor triumph as well as 100 extra credits as well as 10 experience points. So now that we're done talking about the scenario rules, let's go and talk about deployments. So starting with the bottom left hand corner is racer number 6, the Outlaw, which is our Bad Zone Paladite Ranger driving their custom medium vehicle. To the right of the Outlaw is the Blade Runner, which is the Eshin Hellion, is also driving a custom medium vehicle with twin-linked plasma guns as well. In the center deployment of the battlefield, we have racer number 5, which is Booster Gold. The Guild of Coin Haulers operating a custom rig and has been battering his way through the rankings by destroying almost everybody in the last race with his Rock Grinder Ram. To the left of Booster Gold is racer number 2, Brimstone, which is a Colorado Road Preacher driving their customized Heavy Walker. And to the left of Brimstone is racer number 3, the Omni Blaster, which is a Vansar Technica, also driving their custom mini vehicle with anti-grav generators as well. And finally, to put all the way to the top left-hand corner of the battlefield is race number 4, the Grudge Bearer, which is the Ironhead Squad Gearhead. That character is also armed with twin-linked melta guns. And that's going to make up the deployment for this one. So deployment over with, we go directly to the top of turn number 1. So here's an overhead shot on the entirety of the battlefield. We go directly to the top of turn number 1, and the Blade Runner gets the initiative on this one, so the Eshin Hellion will be going first. So the Blade Runner actually activates and does a double action, doing a full throttle double action, moving up 18 inches in a straight line, tripling their movement allowance so that way they can just kind of fly through the battlefield. And the reason why is because the Bone Road Run is a race, so whoever gets to the finish line first obviously is going to be the winner. Up next is Brimstone, the Colorado Road Preacher. He also decides to do a full throttle double action as well. And just like the Blade Runner, moves up forward 18 inches as well, right to the base of the elevated highway. So the Omni Blaster then activates next, however decides to do a move and shoot basic action, deciding to open fire directly at Brimstone. Of course this is a race, but however this race also allows you to use weapons to take out your competition. That's exactly what the Omni Blaster is going to do, and applying his mining laser directly to the 6 o'clock position for Brimstone. So the Omni Blast is going to open fire with its mining laser, firing at the 18-inch short range as well, striking at strength 9 minus 3 AP as well as 3 damage. And with the ballistic skill of 2+, the Omni Blast needs to roll 2 or higher in order to hit the Brimstone. The hit is good, so we're striking at strength 9 versus the rear toughness of Brimstone at 5, so because of that, the Omni Blast needs to roll a 3 or higher in order to wound against the Colorado Road Preacher. And the wound is also good for that mining laser attack, so because of that, it does strike at -3 AP. Now, Brimstone does have an armor save of 4 up, but with that -3 AP though, it gives no armor save whatsoever, and also suffers 3 damage at the same time. So because of that, the damage rolls up on the damage dice, ends up being a catastrophic hit to the drive, causing a major malfunction on Brimstone as well. Brimstone suffers -2 to its hull points and loses 2 right off the bat, as well as suffers 2 handling for the rest of the battle, being affected for a concussion for the rest of this turn anyways. And luckily for Brimstone, though, he does manage to pass his handling test, so he's perfectly fine. However, though, the Omni Blaster core moves up forward 9 inches, moving its full movement allowance, as well as half of its original movement allowance, to that move and shoot action, sneaking right just to the left-hand corner of Brimstone. So with all the action down below taken care of, the Grudge Bear decides to activate next. Once again, decided to do a full throttle double action as well to move forward 21 inches. And as you can see, it goes rocketing right past the Oak Branch building, flying right across the top of the battlefield next to that Hedgehog, gaining the lead on the battle report as well because of that 21-inch movement allowance. The very last activate is Booster Gold, the custom rig that has the Rock Grinder ram. This guy absolutely dominated in the very last race where we actually had the Twisted Metal campaign. And just like last time, Booster Gold decides he's going to declare ram, this time against the Omni Blaster. And this is going to cause all kinds of problems for the Omni Blaster because the Omni Blaster is a medium class vehicle, which is a class below the Booster Gold, so all kinds of bonuses are going to be coming his way when he goes rocketing across the battlefield. So the distance ends up being a 10-inch ram flying all the way from the back end, smashing directly into the rear corner of the Omni Blaster. So because of that, we go to the tail of the tape and talk about exactly what ends up happening for the damage. So a couple of bonuses are going to be going Booster Gold's way. Because it is a larger vehicle, it's going to get +1 for all of its strength, AP, as well as damage for being a larger vehicle class, as well as 1 for having Rock Runner Gram as well. Now, the Booster Gold also has the T-Bone skill, which means he gets to add D3 toughness to his front arc, so that way if he gets some return damage, it doesn't really hurt him too bad. He actually got additional 3 toughness on that one, so because he's not going to take any damage whatsoever from this ramming against against the Omni Blaster. This 10-inch ram, after all the bonuses have been applied, ends up being a Strength 11 -5 AP, 5 damage collision right to the back arc of Omni Blaster. So with a strength of 11 against a rear toughness of 5, Booster Gold needs to roll a 2+ in order to wound. The wound is good, and the Omni Blaster is going to suffer -5 AP from that ramming action. Now, the Omni Blaster does have an armor save of 4+, but that -5 AP, though, ends up being no armor save whatsoever, so because of the Omni Blaster suffers 5 damage. And it also suffers a catastrophic hit to the drive as well with a major malfunction. Loses 2 hull points as well as -2 the handling for the rest of this turn because they're going to suffer from concussion as well. They must make a loss of control test. Unfortunately, that -2 penalty ends up being a handling characteristic of 7+, so 9+, and he fails his handling test. And we roll for the loss of control die, gets a dreaded rollover. Just like that, the Omni Blaster is going to be wrecked. And this is how you know we're living in a death race, because when it got wrecked, the driver got a memorable death. So just like that, the Omni Blaster is now eliminated from the roster, and as well as it can no longer participate in the rest of the campaign as well. The vehicle did suffer persistent rattle though, but it doesn't really matter because the driver is dead, so KIA, man. The Omni Blaster is no more. So for the next one to activate is the Outlaw. The Outlaw decides to do a move action followed by another shoot and move action to fire its twin link concussion cannons directly at Brimstone. So the Outlaw moves up 3.5 inches, opens fire with his twin-linked concussion cannons directly at Brimstone, which is to the left of him. But unfortunately for the Outlaw, though, he misses his shot, so because of that, the Brimstone is perfectly fine, so no harm, no foul. And with that takes us directly to the end of turn number 1. As you can see, all the terrain has shifted down 8 inches to represent the fact that we're actually playing on a rolling road. New terrain pieces actually show up on the very top left-hand corner of the right-hand corner of the battlefield, which is the road sign, as well as the center, which is the fuel tanks that we have right there in the center right-hand side of the battlefield as well. So that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 2, and my friends roll off initiative to see which of them will be going first. So that takes directly to the top of turn 2, and the Grudge Bear actually gets the initiative on this one. So once again, the Grudge Bear decides to do a full throttle double action. And with that, the Grudge Bear rockets forward 21 inches, sticking to the very top of the battlefield and just skirting around all the action that's taken down below him, sticking to the flanks so that way he can just concentrate on driving instead of having to actually worry about fighting in this race. So going back to the center of the battlefield, once again, the Booster Gold decides to declare another ram. This time he's going to go after Brimstone. So Booster Gold makes a quick adjustment roll fist before pushing pedal to the metal, flying to the back of Brimstone. And at the same time, because Brimstone is a Walker class vehicle and the Booster Gold is a larger class vehicle, it's going to get all kinds of bonuses against the Brimstone. Not to mention, at the same time, Booster Gold is also activating his Gliss injectors in order to add more damage to his ramming action. So So with a piercing scream of roaring engines, Booster Gold goes rocking across the battlefield, igniting its Gliss injectors, adding 4 inches to its movement allowance as well. It gets +1 bonus for being a larger vehicle class, as well as a +1 bonus for the Rock Grinder Ram upgrade. At the same time, Booster Gold also has his T-Bone skill, so he also gets 3+ to his front toughness for any return damage. Nothing happened to the last time, and the same thing is probably going to happen to him again as he goes rocking against Brimstone. Now his 16-inch Ram ends up being a Strength 12 -5 AP and 5 damage attack. So needless to say, Strength 12 against a rear toughness of 5 is going to end up being a 2+ in order to wound, so Booster Gold's going to make it no problem. The wound is good, so because it also suffers a -5 to its AP as well. Now, Brimstone does have armor save 5+, with that -5 AP though, he's not going to get any armor save whatsoever. Ends up getting 5 damage put directly onto the Custom Walker. The damage on this one ends up being a penetrating hit to the dive and adds 1 more additional hull point taken away from the Brimstone as well. Now if you remember, Brimstone was already suffering 2 hull points already being lost earlier, so because of that, that's going to push her over the edge because the thing only has 3 hull points. So with a roaring explosion, Brimstone explodes. So a fireball goes ripping across the wasteland as Brimstone gets totally destroyed by Booster Gold. The driver does suffer a critical injury, so because of the road preacher will need to make a medical escort mission in order to survive. So we'll see exactly how that goes. Unfortunately, in this campaign, these critical injuries have been really telling, killing a couple of racers as our campaign went through. At the same time, the vehicle also suffered loss of power, losing 1 to its movement characteristic. The rest of the turn is actually pretty straightforward. Nothing much really happens. Outlaw decides to do a full throttle activation, also moving up forward 21 inches. And as you see, he's going to be skirting back just off his building right there on the bottom of the tabletop, just trying to go as quickly as he can across the battlefield. And the Blade Runner is going to do exactly the same thing, just going to declare a full throttle double action. And just like the Outlaw, she's also going to go forward 18 inches, moving directly towards the office building, planning on skirting through in order to escape all the chaos that's taking place on the battlefield. And as you can see, the terrain also shifted down 8 inches as well. However, though, the little bit of a surprise ended up happening with the elevated highway. There's a massive explosion that takes place that echoes throughout the wasteland as the elevated highway collapses down into a ramp, going directly from above and going straight to the ground. And from the other destruction that's taking place all around it, the Dreadnought is deployed. And this is where the Survivor Triumph actually comes in. Originally, the idea was supposed to be that the Survivor Triumph was originally told to my players that whoever manages to go through the entire campaign without suffering a single wrecked vehicle on them, they'll be able to get that Survivor Triumph. Now, obviously, everyone's taking damage, so because of that, no one really earned it. The reason why is because it was actually a lie. The idea is that whoever manages to wreck the Dreadnought, which is a massive cargo 8 ridge hauler, as you can see represented by those 3 LMTV vehicles that we actually have there. Whoever manages to wreck the Dreadnought is the one who's going to earn this Survivor Triumph. And let me tell you, they're going to have a hard time trying to crack this nut because the Dreadnought is driven by Brute Scum Racer. That's right, these guys are piloted by Malstrain Brute Scum. These guys are the ones patrolling outside of the exclusion zone. This thing costs 1,470 credits if you want to build one of things yourself. It is a Brute Scum Racer who's piloting a Cargo 8 Ridge Hauler. It's got an 8-inch wound allowance, 9 front toughness, 8 side and rear toughness. It's got 17 hull points with a 5+ for handling, a 3+ for armor save. They got a 4+ ballistic skills, 7+ leadership, 6+ cool, 6+ willpower, and 7+ intelligence. So once again, this is a Cargo 8 Ridge Hauler, which is wheeled. It's got headlights as well as a Munitorium armor container on the back of it. The front cab actually is carrying a grenade launcher with frag and crack grenades as well as a heavy stubber. The main cab also has a blade of armor, crash cage, ram, reinforced armor, all-wheel steering, tire claws, redundant drive system, engine shell, nitro booster, as well as smoke vents. Now, if you notice, the Dreadnought also has 2 trailers attached to it. Trailer number 1 is carrying a Promethean tank on top of that, so that way they have a blaze weapon on here. They'll never run out of ammo for that. At the same time, they have to try to attack the vehicle itself from close combat, which is not really going to happen too much because we don't have passengers in this game. It has explosive fuel tanks as well. This just pretty much adds just additional hull points to the Cargo 8 Ridge Hauler. Trailer number 3 is a Munitorium armor container that's got a heavy flamer on it as well as a las cannon on it as well. Now, if these weapons sound familiar, grenade launcher, heavy machine gun, heavy stubber, a las cannon, as well as a heavy flamer, I took inspiration from the movie Death Race with Jason Statham in it. It is a remake of Death Race 3000. In that movie, they deploy the Juggernaut, which is a massive tank. That's a fuel tank that's actually been up-armored. It has a machine gun on it. It also has a rocket launcher on it. It's got a flamethrower as well as a tank cannon on it. So to create that whole idea from that film, this is what I put on my version of the Dreadnought. So whoever manages to take this thing out will earn the Survivor Triumph. So, as you can probably guess, my players were quite surprised when this thing showed up. So that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 3, and we roll a furniture to see which of us has priority. So turn number 3, this one's actually ends up being a quick movement for the most part because everyone's just trying to get away from the Dreadnought. The Grudge Bear actually gets the initiative first, so once again he does a full throttle double action, moving forward 21 inches. The Grudge Bear goes rocketing 21 inches directly at the top of the battlefield, trying to put the fuel container as well as the highway sign between it as well as the Dreadnought because it doesn't want to get shot to pieces. So after the Grudge Bear, Booster Gold gets activated next. And Booster Gold just does 2 movements forward, moving out maximum of 14 inches away from Brimstone, getting out from underneath the elevated highway. Let's go try to skirt around the left-hand side of the Dreadnought. From there we jump to the Outlaw, who decides to do a double movement forward as well. The Outlaw skirts right past the office building right next to it, moving up forward 14 inches and staying to the right-hand side of the Dreadnought. And lastly, Blade Runner moves up forward as well, does a double movement forward, moving up 12 inches in total. And as you can see, it just kind of skirts over the right-hand side of the Dreadnought as well. Now, if you'll notice, the Dreadnought doesn't really do much of anything this turn, and the reason why is because we're waiting for the terrain to shift down at the end of the turn, because that way the Dreadnought will be able to move forward and do things on the battlefield like normal. And as you can see, that takes directly to the end of turn number 3 as well. All the terrain has shifted down 8 inches to the left-hand side as well. The elevated highway is completely gone now, and now the Dreadnought is fully deployed onto the battlefield. So because of that, starting on turn 4 and going all the way to the end of the race, the Dreadnought is going to be able to do its own thing and attacking people. And also the Dreadnought will be the last one to go in every single turn. So with that, we go directly to the Blade Runner, managed to get the initiative on this one. So the very first thing that ends up happening is that the Blade Runner does a simple move action forward. It skirts right next to the main cab of the cargo ridge hauler of the Dreadnought and also decides to do a basic lane mine action as well, dropping a melter trap right next to the main cab before moving ahead. And as you see, the Blade Runner just kind of skirts up directly onto the top of that chemical work, is able to make that move because it has anti-grav generators, and obviously, as you probably tell, the melter trap is triggered by the passing of the Dreadnought, and it also explodes as well, catching the main crew cab on the right-hand side. So the Melta Trap is striking at strength 8 with minus 4 AP and 3 damage with a 5-inch blast template. It's also got the Melta keyword, and because it's being used against a vehicle, it's going to add 1 more damage die to it. It's also single shot as well. So we're talking about a strength of 8 versus side toughness of 8, meaning a 4+ or to wound. The wound is good, also strikes at minus 4 AP. Now the Dreadnought has an armor save of 3+, but with that minus 4 AP though, it gets no armor save whatsoever, and also suffers 4 damage. Now originally the damage dice came out as a penetrating shot to the body, but due to a blade of armor it drops it down to a glancing hit to the body instead, so we get the crew shaken result. The crew gains concussion for the rest of the battle, for the rest of the turn, having minus 2 on their handling test, which means that they also have to take a loss control test as well. Now the handling test originally is a 5+, but with that minus 2 handling it ends up being a 7+ to pass, and they pass no problem. And in a rare bit of teamwork, my players decide to actually help each other out by going against the Dreadnought, and that's exactly what the Grudge Bear decides to do. It decides to do a move action followed up by a move and shoot action against the Dreadnought. As you can see, the Grudge Bear just kind of goes around the chemical tanks, goes right next to the left-hand side of the Dreadnought, opens fire with its all-arcing twin-linked multi-guns directly at the left-hand side of the Dreadnought. So the Grudge Bear is going to be firing twin-linked Melta guns with a 6-inch short range, getting a +1 to hit, striking at strength 8 minus 4 AP, 3 damage to the Melta, scares, and twin-linked weapon traits. And with the Blitz skill 2+, they get +1 bonus to hit due to short range, and because of that, I have no problem making that hit. The shot is good, so because we're striking at strength 8 versus a side toughness is 8 as well, so because of that, the Grudge will need to roll 4 or higher in order to wound against the Dreadnought. The wound roll is also good as well, and the Dreadnought suffers a minus 4 AP hits. Because of the Dreadnought's armor save 3+, it's not going to do anything for it this time around. It gets no armor save, it also suffers 4 damage at the exact same time. Now originally the damage is going to be a catastrophic hit to the engine, but with the engine shell upgrade on the Dreadnought, it drops it down to a glancing hit to the engine instead, which makes it suffer a stutter result, which means the Dreadnought becomes stationary and stalled. And the teamwork with my players continues as it goes forward as Booster Gold once again decides to declare a ram action directly against the Dreadnought. So it looks like everybody's concentrating their attacks directly against this common enemy that they're facing. So the D6 roll for the ram is good, it goes directly into the left-hand side of the Dreadnought as well. Now the Booster Gold will not get as many bonuses because it's going against a vehicle of the similar class, but it does have a Rock Grinder gram as well, and it still has the T-Bone skills, so things are looking pretty advantageous for the Booster Gold. So the Rock Grinder ram actually gives a +1 to the strength, AP, as well as damage of the ramming attack from Booster Gold as well. And with that front toughness for Booster Gold as modified by additional 2 toughness because of the T-Bone skill, the 12-inch ram that Booster Gold makes against the Dreadnought ends up being a strength 9 minus 3 AP and 4 damage hit. So with a strength of 9 against a side toughness of 8, it's going to end up being a 3+ in order to wound against the Dreadnought. The wound is good, and with minus 3 AP, the Dreadnought's armor save of 3+ gets modified to 6+. Unfortunately for the Dreadnought, it does fail its armor save, so because that, it suffers 4 damage. So the damage has come out, ends up being a penetrating shot to the body, so because it does suffer structural damage on the Dreadnought, the Dreadnought suffers one additional loss of its hull point, and it would normally put this vehicle into stationary install moment, but because it's already stationary installed, nothing much really happens there. So the Dreadnought is currently stationary installed. It also lost one hull point, and its handling characteristic went up to 7+ because of -2 handling penalty for the rest of the turn. And apparently teamwork makes the dream work for my players, so the Outlaw decides to do a move action followed by a move and shoot action directly at the Dreadnought. As you can see, the Outlaw goes up 10.5 inches directly to the right hand side of the Dreadnought, decides to open fire with his twin-link concussion cannons directly to the right hand side of the Cargo 8 Ridge Hauler. So the Outlaw is firing twin-linked concussion cannons at the 18-inch long range, striking at strength 4 -1 AP with 2 damage. Also has a 3-inch blast template as well as concussion, knockback, seismic, and twin-linked weapon traits attached to it as well. And the Outlaw will be striking at ballistic skill 2+, so the Outlaw needs to roll 2 or higher in order to hit. The die roll for the hit is good, so because it is striking at strength 4- against a side toughness of 8, so that part's going to be quite bad for the Outlaw, so because it needs to roll a 6 up in order to wound. Now, as you can probably tell, the wound is bad. However, though, the secondary adjustments to this, though, ends up being concussion as well as seismic being put directly onto the Dreadnought. So the Dreadnought is already stationary installed, so it's not going to have to do anything of it with the concussion hit against it, but it's going to add another -2 to its handling characteristics for the rest of the turn, which means now the Dreadnought is facing a 9+ on its handling characteristic, which could be a huge problem for it. We go directly to the end of the turn, and the Dreadnought gets to activate next, so the Dreadnought decided to do a jump start action. Now, normally this vehicle has a 5+ handling characteristics, so it wouldn't be much of a problem. However, though, they have -4 handling because of 2 different stacks of concussion conditions directly onto the crew, so because of that, it's going to cause some problems. Now, they do get +1 for their handling characteristic for the jump start action, which puts their handling characteristic at an 8+, and unfortunately for the Dreadnought, it fails both times. The vehicle is still stationary installed. And with that takes directly to the end of turn number 4. As you can see, all the terrain in the vehicles have pushed down 8 inches to the left-hand side as well for that rolling rules characteristic. We go directly to the top of turn number 5. My friends roll off for initiative to see which of them has priority. So at the top of turn number 5, the Outlaw decides to activate first, doing a double move forward to move up 14 inches. As you see, the Outlaw skirts right past the fuel tanks directly towards the rubble pile there in the bottom right-hand corner, just kind of using those terrain pieces as cover because it doesn't want to get shot at by the Dreadnought. Next in the initiative is the Dreadnought, so because the Dreadnought will be going next, and once again, he's going to do jump starts in order to get this vehicle activated again. This time around, the handling characteristic is going to go in the way of the favor of the Dreadnought. Now, it does have a handling characteristic of 5+. They also get a +1 additional to their handling for the jump start action, putting their handling characteristic of 4+. As you can probably imagine, they need a 4+ in order to pass, and the pass is good. So just like that, the Dreadnought roars to life, activating all of its weapon systems. As you can remember, this thing has a grenade launcher with firing crack grenade, it's got a heavy stubber, it's got a heavy flamer, and it's also got a last cannon attached to this thing. So because the Dreadnought decided to do a fire all basic action, open fire with all of its weapon systems and all the different racers within range. So as you can probably tell, we're going to have to break this action down because there's so many things going on in this battle report. So we're going to go through each of the different fights one at a time. The fire all basic action, they're going to fire their Storm Bolter directly at the Blade Runner. Same thing with their Heavy Stubber. They're going to fire the Grenade Launcher, firing a Crack Grenade at the Grudge Bearer, as well as firing its last cannon at the Grudge Bearer. And lastly, it's going to open fire with its Heavy Flamer directly against Booster Gold. So starting off with the Dreadnought firing against the Blade Runner using a Storm Bolter, it's got to fire the 12-inch short range with +1 to hit because of the short range modifier, striking at strength 4 -1 AP and 2 damage with a 6 up ammo roll, as well as rapid fire 2, as well as the scarce weapon trait. Now the Dreadnought does have a ballistic skill of 4+, and they also get a +1 hit bonus with the short range. They need a 3 or higher in order to hit, but unfortunately for the Dreadnought, though, it misses its shot against the Blade Runner. So it follows up with a second attack, firing its Heavy Stubber with a 20-inch short range with strength 4 -1 AP as well as 1 damage. It's got a 4-up armor save and rapid fire 2. And with the blitz skill of 4+, the Dreadnought needs to roll a 4 or higher in order to hit. This time the Dreadnought managed to hit 3 times with an ammo check directly against the Blade Runner. Now they do have to take an ammo check real quick, and it's a 4-up ammo check, but they do fail the ammo check for this round. So because the Dreadnought will need to spend a special action in order to reload that weapon later on in the game. Now they're striking at strength 4 against a rear toughness of 5, so because of that, the Dreadnought needs to roll a 5 or higher to wound. It does manage to wound once with -1 AP, so the Blade Runner does suffer a armor save of 4 up. With a -1 AP, though, it drops down to a 5 up in order to save. Unfortunately, the Blade Runner fails and suffers 1 damage. In the end, ends up being a glancing hit to the body, so ends up with a crew shaking condition, so because of that, the Blade Runner suffers -2 to its handling characteristic for the rest of this turn. It doesn't take a handling test. It does drop its handling test from a 7+ to a 9+ in order to pass. It does fail that, so because of that, the Blade Runner does become stationary installed. So you can see the little serious injury die right next to the Blade Runner. This represents the fact that the Blade Runner needs to do a jumpstart action in order to activate again if it wants to use its weapon systems against the Dreadnought. So going back to the Dreadnought's attack, this time against the Grudgebearer, opening up fire with its grenade launcher, firing a crack grenade directly at it, but unfortunately for the Dreadnought, it misses its attack with the grenade launcher. Then they decide to open fire with their last cannon against the Grudgebearer, and unfortunately the Dreadnought misses its shot against the Grudgebearer as well, so that vehicle is very lucky. And for its very last attack, the Dreadnought decides to open fire with its heavy flamer directly at the Booster Gold, so you can see the tear drip plate ends up going out, engulfing the vehicle in flame. So, because of that, the Heavy Flamer is a template weapon striking at Strength 5 minus 2 AP and 1 damage. It has a 5+ ammo roll. It does have the Blaze as well as the template weapon traits, and the weapon automatically hits. So the Heavy Flamer is striking at Strength 5 against a front toughness of 9 for Booster Gold, so it ends up being a 5 or higher in order to wound. Unfortunately for the Dreadnought though, it fails to wound Booster Gold, and it also fails to Blaze Booster Gold as well. So a lot of its attacks this turn, very much ineffective. So with that, we go directly to the next activation, which is the Blade Runner. Now the Blade Runner currently is stalled right now, so because she'll need to do a jumpstart action in order to get her vehicle going. It is a simple action to jumpstart with a handling characteristic of 7+. They also suffer -2 the handling characteristic because of concussion, so they need a 9+ in order to pass, and this time the Blade Runner does manage to pass its handling check. So the blood-curdling shriek through the air, the custom vehicle's engine roars to life, so because of that, the next thing the Blade Runner decides to do is a move and shoot action against the Dreadnought. As you see, the Blade Runner moves up its half its wounded characteristic to the end of the fuel tanks, and because it has an all-around arc for its twin-linked plasma guns, it's going to open fire directly into the Dreadnought. So the Blade Runner is firing twin-linked plasma guns at the maximum setting. With a 12-inch short range, you're going to get +1 to hit for that bonus on that. The trigger has Strength 7 minus 2 AP, 3 damage with a 5+ on the ammo, with the scarce, twin-linked, and unstable weapon traits attached to those guns as well. Now the Blade Runner has a 2+ ballistic skill with a +1 to hit for short range. The Blade Runner is going to roll a 2 or higher in order to make that shot. The hit is good, so because that does cause an ammo check, however, but it manages to pass the ammo check no problem because of the twin-linked characteristic attached to that weapon. Now she is striking at Strength 7 versus front toughness of 9, so she's going to need a 5+ in order to wound. The wound is good and is striking at -2 AP, so the Dreadnought does have an armor save of 3+, and needs a 5+ in order to save, and unfortunately for the Dreadnought, though, it fails it, so because of that, it suffers 3 damage. So the 3 damage on this one ends up being a catastrophic hit to the engine, ending up being belching smoke and flame. The Dreadnought loses another 2 hull points, and it can't move faster than its own movement allowance, so at any one time during its activation, the maximum it can move is 8 inches as well. They also must take a loss of control test of -1 to their handling characteristic, drops it down to a handling characteristic 6+, and they manage to pass it no problem. So there's only 3 hull points taken off on this vehicle as well. As you can see, there's also multiple ammo check markers directly on the vehicle because it ran out of ammo for its Stone Bolter as well as for its Heavy Stubber as well. And at the same time, you can see the little 8 right there on the top of the nose of the vehicle to represent the fact that this vehicle can't go faster than 8 inches in any one of its activations. So once again, going back to the Grudgebearer, once again the Grudgebearer is going to do a move, simple action, and a move and shoot basic action at the Dreadnought. As you can see, the Grudgebearer does move forward and does open up with its twin-linked Meltas, but unfortunately, though, they missed the shot. They rolled a 1 on the hits. Because of that, the vehicle is perfectly fine. And the very last one to activate for this turn is going to be Booster Gold. And Booster Gold decides to move out as well, doing double movements forward, moving up a maximum of 14 inches as it tries to trail right behind the Grudgebearer in order to try to cross the finish line as quickly as possible. And with that, that takes directly to the end of turn number 5, and as you can see, all the terrain starts moving downwards another 8 inches for the rolling roads. And as the terrain shifts down, we're now entering turn number 6, which is the very last turn of the Bone Road run. So because that, whoever ends up being the furthest away to the front line will be the winner on this one. Then we go 2nd place and 3rd place onwards, and let's see if anybody actually has what it takes to take out the Dreadnought, because this thing is massive. So the Blade Runner gets the initiative on this one, so the Blade Runner decides to do a move and shoot action against the Dreadnought. And the Blade Runner is going to like to open fire with his twin-linked plasma guns directly at the Dreadnought before it does any movement whatsoever. So once again, the Blade Runner is going to open fire with his twin-linked plasma guns at the maximum setting with a 12-inch short range. They're going to get +1 to hit for that short range modifier, as well as striking at Strength 7, -2 AP and 3 damage with a 5 of ammo roll, with the scarce, twin-linked, and unstable weapon traits attached to it. And with the ballistic skill 2+, the Blade Runner just needs to make sure they don't roll a 1 in order to hit. The hit is good, so she's striking at Strength 7 against a front toughness of 9. Once again, needs a 5+ in order to wound. The wound roll is also good as well, so the Dreadnought suffers a -2 AP to its armor save. The Dreadnought has an armor save of 3+, so it drops it down to a 5+ in order to save. And unfortunately for the Dreadnought, it fails it. It suffers 3 damage at the same time. And this time they suffer a catastrophic hit in the engine, which results in a smelting smoke and flame damage done directly to it. Loses 2 more additional hull points on that. Once again, can't move faster than its movement allowance and must take a handling test with a loss of control test of -1 on its handling characteristic. Now, the Dreadnought does have a handling penalty, a handling of 5+, and with that -1 penalty, it drops it down to a 6+ in order to pass. And unfortunately, the Dreadnought fails it. The loss of control die comes up on this one, and once again, that cursed rollover pops up on that die. I swear, this thing has a pact with all 4 Chaos Gods, and just like that, the Dreadnought is going to wreck. So with a massive, thunderous explosion, the Dreadnought explodes and just comes apart directly on the middle of the battlefield, blown all to hell with the Promethean tank exploding outward, killing all the crew members as well as leaving a large wreck of a cargo 8-rich hauler wasting away in the ash waste as a reminder of what happens sometimes when you step up to the wrong people. And at insult to injury as well, the Blade Runner also moves up 9 inches as well with the rest of its movement characteristic as well. Also earning at the same time 100 credits as well as 10 experience points for being the one to slay the Dreadnought, and she also earns the Survivor Triumph as well. So the Grudge Bearer decides to activate next, doing a move and shoot action directly against Booster Gold, because since the Dreadnought is dead, it's every man for themselves now. And the twin-linked melta guns does have the all arc around it, so because I could go directly behind it to shoot back directly at Booster Gold. So the Grudge Bearer is firing its twin-linked melta guns with a 6-inch short range, getting +1 to its hit bonus. This is also striking at strength 8 with -4 AP, 3 damage to the melta, trait, as well as scarce and twin-linked. And with the ballistic skill 2+, the put is going to be good for the Grudge Bearer. So the Grudge Bearer is striking at strength 8 versus a front toughness of 9, is going to need a 5+ in order to wound. The wound is good, and it also takes off 4 AP off the armor save for Booster Gold. Now, Booster Gold usually has a 4+ armor save. With that -4 AP, though, it gets no armor save whatsoever and takes 4 damage directly to its vehicle. So originally it ended up being a penetrating shot to the body. However, though, with the Blade of Armor upgrade on the Booster Gold, it drops it down to a glancing hit instead, which is going to give it the Cruise Shaken ability instead. What's going to happen is it's going to suffer concussion, so because that driver for Booster Gold has a -2 to the handling, and they must make a handling test. But that -2 penalty ends up being a handling test of 7+ in order to pass. Unfortunately, Booster Gold fails it, so because of that, it becomes stationary and stalled. And for the rest of its activation, the Grudge Bearer moves up 11.5 inches. I'm sorry, is what it ends up doing. So it ends up going up forward, trying to finish the race. So Booster Gold activates next, and the very first thing he's going to do, of course, is do a jumpstart simple action, so that way it can move once again. Now, normally Booster Gold has a 5+ handling, but however, that -2 penalty for concussion drops down to a 7+ handling, but they also get a +1 bonus for a jumpstart action anyways, so it drops down to 6+ in order to pass, and the pass is good. So with Bloody Vengeance in his heart, once again, Booster Gold moves up 7 inches as quickly as it possibly can to try to catch up to the Grudge Bearer. The very last vehicle to operate, once again, is Outlaw. It decides to do a full throttle action in order to move 21 inches forward. And for its very last action, as you can see, the Outlaw goes as far as it possibly can on the tabletop in order to try to win the race. And with that full throttle action, Outlaw managed to secure the victory on this one, earning first place on the Bone Road Run. In second place is going to be the Escher Hellion, the Blade Runner. At the same time, they also earned the Survivor Triumph for this campaign. Third place is going to go to the Grudge Bearer, the Ironhead Squat Prospector Gearhead. And unfortunately, there is no fourth place in this race, so because that Booster Gold gets some props for finishing the race as well. So with thunderous applause and cheering echoing throughout the ash waste, this actually ends race number 5, the Bone Road Run, and ends up being a victory for the Outlaw, managing to win their very first race in this campaign. So that being said, we go directly to the post game because this battle report is now officially over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Alright, so now it's time for the post game. We're going to talk about what went well, what went poorly, and what we can learn for the next time that we do battles. So starting with the racers, starting from last place all the way to the front, first off is the Omni Blaster. Unfortunately, the Omni Blaster driver was killed with a memorable death, and their vehicle suffers a persistent rattle, so because of that, the Omni Blaster has now been eliminated from the race. Up next is Brimstone. Brimstone did suffer a critical injury and the vehicle suffered a loss of power with -1 to its movement. However, though, Brimstone decided to spend 50 credits for a medical escort mission and made a full recovery as well. At the same time, the Brimstone also spent money on quality repairs to remove the loss of power damage that was done directly to it. At the same time, spent 165 credits to purchase a missile launcher with frag and crack missile with an all-around arc for its second weapon directly onto it, which is going to need because we're getting to the very last race of the campaign. Up next is Booster Gold. He managed to earn 165 credits as well as 19 experience points. He learned the Heavy Foot and Expert Driver skills, also purchased a Weapon Hardpoint number 2 for his vehicle, and he attached a twin-linked autocannon to it with the all-around arc. So Booster Gold now, not only does it ram you to death, this thing will also blast you away with a twin-linked autocannon. Also purchased a Nitro Burner as well as a Mine Layer with an extra mine because we're getting the very last race. You might as well put all the weapons and equipment you can on your vehicle now in order to make it count for the Road to Glory. So in third place was the Grudge Bearer, earned 85 credits as well as 11 experience points. They learned the Expert Driver skill and earned 20 credits to their value, as well as upgrading their willpower and cool characteristics for another 15 credits of value as well. They also spent credits to purchase Mine Layer with 3 extra mines for it, as well as an Archaeotech Automatic Reactor for its engine, as well as headlights for its upgrade as well. In second place was the Blade Runner, who also managed to get the Survivor Triumph as well, earned 260 credits as well as 28 experience points. Learned the Munitioneer, Heavy Foot, and T-Bone skills, increasing its credit value by 60 credits. Also spent 135 credits on quality repairs in order to fix up all the damage on the vehicle. Also spent some more money to get an Archaeotech Automatic Reactor as well as an additional 2 mines for its mine layer. And also decided to get itself some extra armor as well as a crash cage. Might as well because we're now entering the last race of the campaign. And the winner in first place for the Bone Road Run is the Outlaw, earned first place, getting 145 credits as well as 19 experience points. And Ink upgraded his leadership, will, cool, and leadership characteristics for the intelligence characteristic by +1. Also learned the Munitioneer skill as well, and also decided to get a Ram Archaeotech Automatic Reactor, as well as headlights, a mine layer, as well as 3 extra mines in its weapons upgrade because we're now entering the very last race. So next week will be the very last race of our campaign. This is the Road to Glory. It's going to determine once and all who's the greatest champion of all of our racers. And because it's the very last race next week, this actually brings up a call to action to you, the viewers. Now, if you guys remember, we have a triumph that's called the Fan Favorite Triumph, which basically means that you, the viewers, will be voting on who's your favorite racer. Now, you might be thinking, well, Commander Cheapskate, there's only 5 racers left from the original 10 that we had. Well, good news for you guys, I'm actually going to put all 10 racers up on the polls on my channel. I'm going to actually have 3 different posts with the all 10 racers available for you. What I need you guys to do, I need you to vote for which of your racers was your most favorite racer in this campaign. It doesn't matter if they're the last 5 who survive to go in the very first race. It could be anybody that's been eliminated up to this point. Whatever racer you thought was the coolest or the one that you liked the most, go ahead and put a vote for it. If you want to put a comment down below in the comments boxes down below on my video here or on the posts, that'd be great. I'd love to hear you guys' overall thoughts on why these racers were your favorite and why did you chose that one to be the one for you. Now, when we get to race number 6 and we actually do that battle report, I'm going to take all the votes and take a look at it. Whoever's got the most votes, that's going to be the Fan Favorite Triumph for this campaign. So keep an eye on that. In fact, after this video actually ends, I'm actually going to put that poll up directly onto my channel so that way people can actually vote on it immediately as well. So there you guys have it. That's going to do for this one for battle report number 5 for our Road to Wheels of Fury campaign. We've been having a blast making this battle report series for you guys as well as doing this campaign. Something new that we get to do for Necromunda as well. It's also a great way for us to come back after being gone for so long with our 3-month hiatus. So I'm really glad you guys are responding well to this campaign as well because we're having a lot of fun playing it and making the content for this. So as always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. You guys' input is valuable to us as always. I am Commander Cheapskate. I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace out and stay classy.